So just as a reminder, we are on our way to building the Folly kits, which will include the objects from our original composition, the 9-square grid frame, and then some simple planes and a stair. We are going to treat this the way we treated the stair. We're basically going to draft our 9-square grid, and then we're going to extrude it into the 9-square grid frame. So I'm going to use my array command. I'm going to select my object and type array. I'm going to want 3 squares in the X direction and 3 squares in the Y direction and 1 square in the Z direction.
And for my inputs, I'm going to put 20 feet in the X direction and 20 feet in the Y direction.
That's the beginning of my gridded array frame. So the next thing we want to do is establish our 4-foot grid of columns and beams. I'm just going to create a rectangle from corner to corner. The next tool I want to use is called offset. And so it's asking me if I want to offset to the interior or the exterior. And it's also prompting me for a distance. And I've typed in the distance of 4. And I'm just pulling my mouse to the outside to get it to default to the outside. And now you'll see I've got that new rectangle that is the correct dimension. I'm going to zoom in, click the interior rectangle, and get rid of that. Now I can use my planar surface command to build a surface between the rails so that I can then extrude this into part of the gridded frame. If I switch to perspective, then you can see that by the gumball that it's also extrudable. We know that we want the bars to be 4 foot thick in this direction too. So I'm going to create an extrusion at 4 feet, and now I have that grid. If you find that this does not cap, you can use the extrude tool and choose the solid option. So in Rhino, there's always many ways to create an object. So in this case, I think the easiest way to create the 9-square grid frame would be to create the plan that we've just made, extrude some columns at the intersection locations, and then duplicate the frame and add it to the top.
I've drawn a rectangle on the corner and I want to extrude it to 16 feet for the column.
And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and cap it. Now I can use the array commands that I used before. So array in the X direction, I actually want 4 this time. So I'm going to type in 4 and 4 in the Y direction and 1 in the Z direction. Hit enter, this corner to, looks like that corner, and then hit enter. So that was pretty easy. And then we can duplicate this.
Just hold Alt and duplicate it at a height of 20 feet.
I could join these all together so that I have a grouped object that I can use for my follies. Now I can select the whole thing. I could duplicate it, I could even scale it, but for now I kind of want to keep these at this scale.